So today I wanted to cover the Play magazine. So it's a magazine specifically made for the PlayStation. And in the United States, we actually don't typically have this. It's mainly a UK magazine, but you can get it in the United States and the other parts of the world. It does take longer to get to you because obviously they are shipping worldwide. But when you look at prices and maybe the size of the magazine, things of that nature, is going to be reminiscent of the magazine scene in the UK. So, Play Magazine is the official PlayStation magazine. To my knowledge, there isn't anything like this in the United States. This is issue 4, so I intentionally chose a an issue that is old. That way, this doesn't perturb or prevent you from going to get it yourself, but rather just gives you an idea of what this magazine entails because I personally didn't know either. So I'm just gonna do a quick overview on what the magazine looks like, what they cover, and to kind of give you an idea of whether you may be interested in it because it is a great resource. I actually very much enjoy the magazine, but like I said, I had to really be proactive in finding it because you just don't see it and it's not advertised very much. So you got your typical welcome, or just different contributors, a couple little information, and chill out games, some prices. I don't know how much a pound is. No idea if those are good prices or how much those are. Of course, we got our contents typically broken into just regulars, things that are in every issue, insider information, previews, features, reviews, and then retro station for older things. So let's dive into the insider here. So first, they are talking about the Nacon Connect and RoboCop. So a lot of these games I'm not super familiar with, but that's why you get a magazine like this, right? To inform yourself, and it kind of helps you really look forward to what's coming out in the future. So I really like the way it is laid out. As I mentioned, the size of this is larger than a lot of the magazines in the United States. I don't know if that's just this or maybe UK, but it's a lot longer. So they're allowed to put a lot more artwork in here. The text isn't as mushed together. I love the graphics and the artwork that they put in here, especially here in a bit when we hit the Elden Ring section. Just phenomenal. So insiders here are talking about Ghost of Tsushima. I actually love this game. I didn't think I would like it, but once I got the director's cut and started playing it, I fell in love big time. Phenomenal game. I almost platinumed it actually. There are a couple trophies that would have just taken so long, and at some point you do have to move on. So I didn't platinum it, but I came dang close and I wanted to. Here they're talking about NBA 2K22's cover art and how that is going to come about and essentially just the motivation for it. Here they're talking about Nihon Falcom and JRPGs, just kind of a little bit about them. It's the developer access, so they talk specifically to them. Then we move on to just Back from the Dead, just kind of general information and articles. Here we got things that they thought gear wise, like whether figurines or here's some pillows, shirts, just different things they thought would be neat to highlight that maybe we would be interested in purchasing. Some of these figurines are really nice. They're real expensive, but they're also pretty cool. And then, of course, like shirts and things of that nature, just things they thought that were pretty unique and different, and they highlighted that for us. Here we are talking about Ubisoft and kind of just general insider information. Then here is a little kind of debate where a lot of the contributors talk about what studios PlayStation should partner with and join. And everyone has an opinion, especially with the recent acquisition of Blue Point and some of the other different acquisitions they've had. So it's kind of cool just to get the wheels turning thinking about it. There's certainly definitely a lot of studios that I never really considered that would have been good candidates. And as you read, you kind of like learn, and I don't know, it's kind of nice. Just a good little debate there. Then there's an ad for whatever T3 Smarter Living is. Then we got some musical numbers. So some of their a list of games here and some of the music that really helps captivate audiences into the game, and some honorable mentions there as well. So I like how it's not always the same rinse, wash, and repeat every single issue. They do have different articles that are thinking of different things, and it's really new opening every article. You don't know what you're going to read. There are some things that are obviously kind of staples, but other than that, it's really interesting to read all these and see what direction they take their writing. So we start into the opinion pieces now. So here is just that the accessibility options should be standard and not just a bonus in games. Here, something about Arcane paid special attention to DualSense and Deathloop, which is kind of neat. We got a COVID ad. Sure, we're sick of dealing and hearing about that. And then they've got a section here where fans either take part of a poll. Like here, they want to say, okay, what is your most wanted game as readers of the magazine? And they listed Forbidden West was number one, then Turismo 7, God of War, Final Fantasy, and then Stray. That's interesting. Stray. Wouldn't have guessed that one, honestly, but, interesting. And so it's kind of cool they interact with the readers a little bit here, so that's kind of neat. And then they have a little section here, Hot Shots, so people take their best photo mode photos in one of their PlayStation games, and then they've got some honorable mentions, and they tell what game it's from, and some of them are pretty cool. Next, we've got something Alex would really like here, Neptunia Virtual Stars. He's a big fan of that stuff. Then we got the previews. So everyone loves the previews. Here we got Rainbow Six Extraction. And I think starting here and into the review section is where I feel they really do a great job at utilizing the artwork and the writing and the format of the magazine to create something that is really appealing to look at and to read. So here you see a really big graphic of the game. It looks amazing. You can see high action. Fidelity is really good. So it's just really good. And here, you're just seeing different screenshots, different information and impressions that they are getting. Now we jump into Project Zero Maiden of Blackwater. Again, same thing, similar format, but different arrangement of photos and text, kind of keeping it fresh. And we got a couple more games here. Just the preview section. Here's Riders Republic. So a decent amount of stuff written about each piece and each game, but not too much. I feel like they do a good job at not harping on anything or not fluffing information in just to fill out a page full of text so it looks like, they've really thought about it or anything like that. Rather, they're to the point, it's good information, and it's a good mix of visuals and writing. Here's Lost Judgment, which is actually already out right now. But like I said, I wanted to show you an older magazine so you don't not buy their product because I'm covering it here, but rather just showing you kind of what this is like. And then here's Final Fantasy, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So again, here's where like a page where some of the art is just really cool to look at. Again, this is still the preview section. And just kind of talking about feeling peppy and impressions. Here's some facts. And then we got Tales of Arise, which is also already out at this point. It's actually be interesting to play the game, go back and look at their preview and see how much of it aligns. So here's Death Stranding Director's Cut. We are about ready to jump into, Alex is going to do a review of that game here soon. And then you got a bunch of little games like Fist and Demon Slayer, Earth Defense Force 6. And they're just little snippets, and it's still kind of cool in case you were considering that game or you just wanted some more information. Enough to tease it and make you look into the game further if you hadn't really considered it. And then here is where I really think they start. This is from the beginning and the front cover. You can tell Elden Ring was the main focus here. But I love this. Isn't quite a poster like magazines used to have back in the day where you could take it off and put it on your wall on your bedroom. It's not like that, unfortunately, but it's a really nice cover page here. And then as you look through their article, I mean, they just do an amazing job putting artwork in that creates good contrast, makes it visually appealing. It's easy to read. There's good information in here. I'm not going to go through and obviously read all the stuff, but it was really good. A big fan of their format and how they've done it, the way they write. I mean, I just love looking at these pages because it's beautiful. I mean, seriously, you could almost, if the text weren't here, put this up as a poster and be perfectly happy with the way it looks. And again, there really is good information in here. Just because I'm not reading it is because it's not because I'm trying to just brush it off, but I don't want to sit here and have a 40-minute video of me reading. So here, I really like this section. Maybe my favorite section of the entire issue and subscription are the indie games, because unless you work in video games, I guess maybe, even then it's tough. Finding good indie games, it can be difficult. I mean, you're taking a risk almost. And so they cover some of the indie games. So we know of Hades. It's been out and people absolutely love it. I've wanted to get into it, but I just haven't had time recently. I've had a couple other things going on. But they cover all types of different indie games. And again, it's not a full-on review, but it's enough that like, okay, maybe I need to look into this. And if they highlight it, obviously you're going to feel a little better about it. And then obviously they'll even, like, it comes to light. Like, all these games, I hadn't heard of any of them. And now, because I read this, I at least know of them and I have the decision to buy them or not. Whereas before, I didn't know they existed. So obviously, there's no chance I could find a game that I would want to play. So now here we got the reviews. And Scarlet Nexus is first. Something similar, a good mix of artwork and then actually reviewing. So they go over the controls. They're kind of talk a little bit about the plot. They've got trophy information here. They've just got a bunch of stats, facts, really good information that if you're considering buying these games, what it could entail, and information that would really help you decide whether to drop the money or not. So even very quick things like here, format, PSVR, price, when it's out, who the publisher is, what's the length, how many players, accessibility options. Like, they put a lot of very relevant, good information right on here that immediately is going to help and make or break your decision. Like, if this game were 2 hours, okay, I'm not paying £25 for 2 hours. Immediately almost made your decision for you. They talk about the Move controllers, how those handle. Again, some more things about trophies. And then every now and then some game tips, things of that nature. So Legend of Mana, Little Witch Academia or whatever, F1 2021. So good reviews. Here's Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Again, I really like their format. I feel like it's really easy to read. Even most magazines, I'm going to be honest, like Sports Illustrated, I mainly look at the pictures and choose select articles just because I don't feel like reading. Like, I don't want to read. I don't know. I'm a loser. I don't want to read. I read every day of my life at work. I don't want to come home and read. So they do a good job making this easy to read so it's not a pain in the butt. So we're still in the review. So as you can tell, the review section is pretty long. They do cover a decent amount of material. And then after that, we have the PS5, PS4, and PSVR Hall of Fame. So if you watch Gaming is in Session, our last episode, actually also our first episode, we covered the PS5 Hall of Fame, the top 10. The next episode, we've already recorded it, but you'll see it. We're still editing and things, but we did the PSVR Hall of Fame. I don't think we're going to do the PS4, but it is interesting. I mean, I think it's a little suspicious that so many of the AAA titles and PlayStation Studio games are up top, and it's a PlayStation magazine. I've played Ratchet and Clank. I played all the way through it. There's no way it's number one. There's just no way. I can appreciate the game. It's top 10. I wouldn't put it in my top 5 even. But, whatever. Astro's Playroom's very good. Resident Evil Village, I feel like should be higher. I think that, like, Bug Snacks, I know it's not a AAA title. It doesn't push the PS5, but that game is so fun and so clever. There's no way it should be 17. It should be higher in the list. Sackboy: A Big Adventure, I'm surprised that's not higher. Not arguing, but I'm kind of surprised it's not a little higher. And so, just gives you kind of a list, games to look up. PS4, again, same thing. All the PlayStation Studio games are up top. There are some surprises. I'm surprised Last of Us Part 2 isn't way up here. I mean, that was way better than Uncharted 4, in my opinion. And, like, Dreams, I kind of was surprised with 7. Like, definitely a good game. Shadow of the Colossus being 25 seemed low. I just don't know. Whatever. And really, what really got me is, I'm more of a PSVR guy. That's my bread and butter. So when I looked at this, that's where I was really like, what the F is going on here? Like, Tetris Effect at number 1 is ludicrous. Absolutely absurd. If you show someone PSVR for the first time, the last thing you're going to do is, oh, you got to try VR. Try Tetris first. Oh, it's going to blow your mind. No, it's like it adds something to the game without a doubt, but to be the number 1, that's ridiculous. Also, I don't know if you're a VR fan here, but you'll notice there's no Super Hot, which is the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. I like that Res is high. I love Res Infinite. Astrobot is big time. Iron Man VR sucks. That should not be number 7. That is ridiculous. The fact that Resident Evil 7 is 12 is... This person who wrote this must be afraid of horror games or something, because that is crazy. And to think that Firewall is better than Resident Evil 7 is just mind-boggling. There's no way. Like, I'm surprised they added to the top. I'm a big fan of that. Everybody's Golf VR should not be 16. It's probably not even a top 20 game. Beat Saber, really surprised that that's only 20. But, Farpoint at 23, they obviously didn't use the aim controller because there's no way that's... Anyhow, I'm not here to review their review, but some of it was bogus. Just know. So Retro Station, they kind of go and look at interesting things. What if Pokemon Snap were political commentary? Like, just things I'm like, what? Where'd they get that? And it's interesting. It's just fun writing that you get to read, makes you think, and it's fun. It's just fun to read. Defending Noctis. I'm not familiar with that Final Fantasy, so I didn't really understand. But I'm assuming they're defending him in his reluctance, so that's interesting. Die Hard trilogies. There was something I think about Sonic in here somewhere, but so that's Retro Station. Oh, right there. There's the Sonic. We're still in Retro Station. Then they've got their parting shot. This one's about Zone of the Enders, and then that is the Play magazine. So again, I didn't really want to review the things in here, but mainly bring to light what Play magazine is, the format of it, and give you an idea that one, something like this does exist that is accessible to everyone around the world. I think in the United States, I didn't buy it through them directly. I had to go through like a magazine company. I think it was like maybe $25, $26 for a quarter. So it's a quarter of the year, and that includes 3 issues. So essentially 3 issues for $25 or something near there, and then you get those, every 2 to 3 months. So, and they will be delayed just because that's being shipped from overseas and things. But I hope this brings to light something, a resource that you may enjoy. If you have any questions, comment below. I'd love to help out. I hope this was interesting to you, and hopefully you consider Play Magazine. Pretty good magazine. I recommend it, and we will talk to you in the comment section or wherever else you want to talk to us at. Peace out.